Welcome back, everyone. I am back for part 6 of our book club on manifestation. So as you all know by now, I am reading through this wonderful book, Manifest, 7 Steps to Living Your Best Life by Roxie Nafousi. And what I've been doing is going through section by section and just reading through and putting in a bit of my comments to just add to it, really, in terms of what it raises for me. Now, the reason that I've started doing this book, as I've already said, I would hope if you're watching this number 6 video, you will go back and watch videos number 1 to 5 first, because we are going through the book in order. But of course, you can feel free to dip in at any time. Sorry, I was just checking I was recording. It's been a busy day. So the reason I'm going through this is because manifestation is something that I incorporate into my daily life along with meditation. And what I'm really looking to do is really provide on this channel a lot of ideas. Some will resonate with you, some won't, some you might want to come back to at a later date, of ways where we can all really take control of our own lives and try and really get the most out of every day. And really take back power. You know, we've heard a lot about over the last couple of years about what's wrong in the world. Well, now let's focus on what's right and what we want to create moving forward. So this book has got some really, really good, helpful techniques to help you go through the manifestation process, whether you're an experienced manifester and you just need a bit of reminder to start incorporating it into a weekly habit, or whether this is completely new to you. And as I've said before, why I like this book is it's got really simple exercises all throughout it. And the author, Roxie Nafousi, has got a real gift of actually taking something that can be quite complex and making it really simple and achievable. Now, of course, you can use this as a guide and you will add to it things that resonate with you and that basically will really help you move forward in the way that you want to. So this is just a guide for you to listen to, but I'm hoping that it will encourage you to really start moving forward. So last time we got up to the end of section 2, and now we are starting on step 3, aligning your behavior. So for those of you that want to follow along, we're starting this section on page 63. Now, as I have said all throughout this, I would really encourage everyone to get their own copy of the book to support this wonderful author. And also, because like me, you're going to want to make notes, put stickies in there. There's lovely exercises that you can fill in as in the book as you go along. So this really becomes your personal journal. So please do go out and buy the book, and all the links to contact, where to get the book, and also how to follow Roxie Nafousi are given below. So let's get cracking. Just going to put my watch there so that I can try and keep it to half an hour for you so that it's manageable for people. So step 3, aligning your behavior. Aligning your behavior means showing the universe in action what you believe you deserve. This is because the way we behave is a direct reflection of our self-worth. This follows on really well from the last section we did was about self-love, and we had some really good feedback from people on that section. So I do encourage you, if you're following through this with me, it's worth flicking through the comments that people have left below the videos and adding your own, because I think you'll really find that adds to your experience. Aligning your behavior means being proactive in your manifesting journey. Aligning your behavior means being the energy you want to attract. Aligning your behavior means stepping outside your comfort zone. Aligning your behavior means aligning with your most authentic self, but because it's that self that's the most magnetic version of you that exists. This is a step that really differentiates the law of attraction from manifesting. The law of attraction says that what you think about most, you will attract into your life. But this can imply that there's a passiveness to the process. Manifestation is not passive. You cannot just be clear in your vision and then wait for it to appear. To step into your power and to really shift your energy to attract the abundance you deserve, you must start behaving in a way that is aligned with the most empowered version of yourself, and not the version of you that has been limited by fear and doubt. Be proactive in your manifestation. To effectively manifest, you must be clear in your vision. Know that you are worthy of it, and then you must be proactive in making it happen. For example, let's imagine you want to manifest a house in the countryside for you and your family. You must have a clear vision of the house. Remove any fears or doubts surrounding it. Trust that you are worthy of it, and then you must be proactive in your search. For example, by looking at property websites, speaking to estate agents, or visiting the area to see if any houses are for sale. Similarly, if you wanted to manifest passing an exam, then you would need to be clear in your vision and then be proactive by committing the time and energy to your revision and studies. No matter what you want to manifest, there will be an element of doing that is needed. It's one of the biggest manifesting misconceptions that we can just visualize what we want and then expect it to show up for us without any effort required. I can certainly say that when manifesting my own career milestones, I did so only with the help of hard work, determination, persistence, self-discipline, and motivation. Being proactive requires fearlessness, a fearlessness that shows the universe, I am worthy, I am deserving, and I am ready. Think about this. How many times have you intentionally avoided being proactive because the fear of failure overwhelmed you? I was speaking with a new client last month who told me about an idea she had to host a supper club. She wanted advice on how to find the courage to move forward with it. A little further along in the conversation, I discovered that she'd had the idea for nearly 2 years. During that time, she had absolutely everything in place to make it work, but her fear that no one would turn up literally paralyzed her from moving forward. This is not an unusual story. Almost every day, I will hear a friend, family member, or colleague tell me about a brilliant idea they have, an idea that they never follow through with because they don't believe they're good enough, worthy enough, or capable enough to really make the idea come to life. How many times have you had an idea that you've let go because you were afraid you wouldn't be able to make it work? How many times have you been too afraid to reach out to someone out of fear of rejection? How many times have you allowed yourself to dismiss your dreams because they felt too far out? This is a really important point, isn't it? Because I think that we can all identify with this. Certainly, I've seen a lot throughout the last couple of years, like when certain things happen, like the new financial reset, or when the restrictions are over, or when this or when that, people are going to start following their dreams. And yet, why wait? You know, really, really, why wait? It's so important that we take action towards our dreams every day. And this manifesting process, if you follow through from the start, gives you a really clear steps of how you can actually really start to work out what it is you do want, and then taking proactive steps towards getting it. And this also fits in really nicely with the last section we did in book club number 5 on self-love. Because the more we work on really accepting ourselves and really being authentic to ourselves, the easier this is to take action. Procrastination and apprehension about taking action is so often driven by fear of failure. We avoid applying ourselves because it's easier not to try at all than to try and fail. I hear that is very true for a lot of people, isn't it? It's a good excuse. When this fear of failure is influencing us, it's easy to make a whole bunch of excuses about why we can't do something. We say we don't have the time, the resources, or the energy. What do these excuses and lack of action say to the universe? They say, I'm not ready for it, and I don't really believe I'm worthy enough to receive it. As we know from step 2, remove fear and doubt, see page 23, this fear will block you from attracting the very thing that you desire. So it's really useful to go back to page 23 and see if there's any other fears that are stopping you moving forward with something that you really want to manifest. And just being honest with yourself. And, you know, this is the whole process. You know, we can go backwards and forwards through these steps as many times as we need to. Because that's the whole point. Each time we do it, it will get easier and easier and easier. Being proactive transcends the fear of failure. Imagine that you want to manifest a successful new business. Let me show you the difference between behaving in a way that is limited by fear and doubt, version A, and behaving in a proactive way that is aligned with your vision and transcends fear and doubt, version B. Version A, your fear of rejection prevents you from reaching out to new clients. Your fear of judgment stops you from marketing yourself online. Your doubts stop you from investing adequately into the business. And your fear of failure binds you from seeing potential opportunities and prevents you from taking risks. You behave in a way that keeps you trapped in your comfort zone without the potential for real growth and expansion. It's a bit of a depressing scenario, isn't it? Let's look at version B. Version B, you reach out to potential new clients. You promote yourself on every platform. You ask for advice from mentors. You're proactive in finding people to collaborate with. You see potential opportunities and grasp them. You find innovative ways to market yourself, and you invest the time, energy, and money needed for the business to succeed to the level that you desire. It's clear to see how the way in which you behave would impact your ability to manifest a successful new business. The person in version B will be proactively reaching their goals and, in doing so, will be much more effective in manifesting their dreams than the person in version A. Another example of being proactive is this. If you want to manifest a loving relationship, you cannot simply put all the specific qualities and attributes of your perfect partner on a vision board and expect that person to appear. To manifest them into your life, you must align your behavior accordingly. This would mean, first and foremost, treating yourself with the level of respect and love you want to attract. That is by cultivating self-love. It would then mean being open to and proactive in creating opportunities to meet someone, whether that's joining a dating app, accepting offers set up by a friend, or simply going to more social gatherings. Very thirsty today, so drinking lots of water. Whenever you want to manifest something into your life, you have to align your behavior by taking action and being proactive. Aligning our behavior shows the universe, I'm ready, I'm fearless, and I'm worthy. And the universe will meet that fearlessness and readiness with abundance. Some of you reading this may fear that the fears and doubts you identified in step 2, removing fear and doubt, see pages 33 to 35, are still very real. You may be asking, how can I align my behavior when I don't feel that I've completed step 2? Or how can I be proactive when I still feel afraid that I will fail? The answer is you work these steps in unison. Removing fear and doubt is an ongoing process, and that's something you do alongside aligning your behavior. Can you remember a time when you said you couldn't do something but decided to try anyway? Can you remember how proud of yourself you felt afterwards? Did that feeling of pride then enable you to continue to take a step forward? So it's really important. Don't let those excuses hold you back. You don't have to wait till you're perfect to move on. You can be continually just improving, getting more comfortable with this, going backwards and forwards through the steps, working forward in unison. But please, 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 just keep taking action and keep moving forward this process. You will be so grateful and you will thank yourself. As Bryce and I said in one of our last chats, do something today that your tomorrow self will thank you for. And this is the perfect example. I see this with my son, Wolfie, all the time. We went to a little gymnastics class last week and there was a balancing beam he wanted to walk along. He was convinced he couldn't do it on his own and he would reach for my hand to help him the whole way along. But when I gently let go and encouraged him to do it alone, I saw his face light up. He was so proud of himself. The next time he walked along the balancing beam, he looked at me as if to say, "Don't worry, Mum, I've got this." This is how you behave in a way that transcends your fears and doubts. You do something despite feeling afraid. And in taking action, you build your self-belief and self-worth, which in turn drives your manifesting power and helps you to continue to take action going forward. It's an upward cycle. Essentially, you just need to feel the fear and do it anyway. I see Coco, the cat's joined us in the background. She always loves joining us when we're doing this. So remember that, feel the fear and do it anyway. And you will be so pleased with yourself when you do, I promise you. You know that saying, fake it until you make it? Well, I heard a better version that made much more sense to me and fits perfectly with this step. Fake it until you become it. I really like that. Sometimes we just have to take a leap of faith and trust that by acting in ways that are aligned with the idea of who we want to be, we will take ourselves closer to becoming it. Remember, back in step 1, be clear in your vision, see page 14, I said that one of the most important questions you can ask yourself on the manifesting journey is, who do I want to become? When we have clarity on this person, on the most empowered version of ourselves, we can begin to behave in ways that aligns with us from this very moment. To give you an example, I have a friend who for many years wanted to work as a life coach to help other men on their healing journeys. He had completed a coaching course and spent most of his spare time helping people around him, but he held a great deal of fear about turning this into a profession. He didn't trust that his experience and understanding had enough value to deserve payment. So he avoided letting anyone know he was a certified coach and never risked exposing himself to failure. After I'd spent some time working through this with him and introducing him to the world of manifesting, he decided to start faking it until he became it. I said to him, if you're already a successful coach, what would you be doing with your time? How would you be marketing yourself and what action would you take? He gave me a list of things that he could think of. Then I told him to go ahead and do them. Within days, he had set up an Instagram page as a men's coach, connected with other men in the industry, began creating self-development content, advertised his own one-to-one sessions, and kept himself open to any and every opportunity that presented itself. Over the course of 12 months, slowly but surely, he built up his presence in the wellness industry, created a loyal and engaged community of followers, was working with clients every single week, and had hosted a free webinar for men in which he had put together a panel of 8 influential men's mental health experts. By aligning his behavior with who he wanted to be, even when he was unsure of it himself, the universe rewarded him. Sometimes we just have to fake it until we become it. Note, for anyone suffering from imposter syndrome, fake it till you become it can be a great phrase to return to. When we start a new career or throw ourselves into something unknown, we can experience self-doubt that tells us we aren't qualified, skilled, or knowledgeable enough to do what we're doing. This is totally normal, and there aren't many people who haven't felt this way. Remind yourself that by aligning your behavior, you can step into the most empowered version of yourself from now. With time, you will start to accept and believe the truth that you are deserving of the position, that you are enough, and that you are worthy of thriving. Here's an exercise that can help you identify some of the ways that you can align your behavior with your manifestation by being proactive and taking action. So this exercise is on page 70 of the book. And I know the lighting's not very clear, but you don't need to read the words. You just need to see that there's plenty of space for you to do these exercises within the book if you so believe. So exercise, behave the way your future self would. This is going to be fun. I want you to take a moment now to imagine your future self. I want you to really sink into this exercise and fill your visualization with details. Imagine the version of you that's the height of your manifesting powers and has drawn in all that you could want within your life. Make it feel as real as possible, bringing your most magnificent self to life. Now, of course, the beauty of YouTube is when you're doing these exercises, you can just pause this at any time whilst you actually do the work, and you must do the work. Now, ask yourself the following questions. How do I behave? What do I do to live in such a self-loving, empowered, and magnetic way? List 5 things that your future self does, informed by the most powerful version of yourself. I really want everyone to stop and do this. And if you're listening to this whilst driving or walking, please set a time aside in your diary to go through and do this exercise. It's really important. These are the things I want you to start doing in your life right now to take you even closer to meeting your future self. So I want to hear about some of these. So if anyone is able to share some of the things they put in this exercise on page 70, listing 5 things that your future self does, informed by the most powerful version of yourself. If any of you are happy to share even any of the things on your list, please do, because that really, really helps inspire others and helps them to do the same. So you can leave your comments below, and I promise you, I will be reading them all. Whenever you think about the person you want to become, think of ways in which you can align your behavior with that version of yourself from this very moment. Show the universe in action that you're ready to embody them, because they already exist within you. Getting comfortable with discomfort. As you begin aligning your behavior with your manifestation and your future self, it's important to recognize that it won't all feel easy and certainly won't always feel comfortable. In fact, aligning your behavior will require you to step into a place of discomfort. Let me explain why. Our subconscious finds comfort in what is familiar to us, even if what is familiar for us is not necessarily what is good for us. This is because familiarity feels safe. When we act in new ways, we will be encountering things that are unfamiliar. This unfamiliarity will feel uncomfortable and therefore unsafe. It will feel so uncomfortable that our subconscious will desperately try to pull us back into what it used to be, into what it's used to, so that it can feel safe again. This is why we self-sabotage. And then I'm going to walk you through the little diagram of the self-sabotage cycle. So at the top, we do what feels comfortable. We decide to make a change. We take the steps to change. We start to feel good. This feels different. We feel uncomfortable. We question the changes made. Our subconscious craves familiarity. We do what feels comfortable. And that diagram's on page 71. For example, let's imagine you are someone who has always taken a back seat or shied away from the spotlight. You've essentially cast yourself in a supporting role in the story of your life. After years of living like this, that is simply where your subconscious will feel most comfortable, when you hide in the shadows of others. So when you decide to make a change and say, now's the time to step into my light, to show the world what I have to offer, and finally be the protagonist of my own story, your subconscious will panic and will try and pull you back into comfortable territory by encouraging you on a subconscious level to self-sabotage. It might do this by sabotaging opportunities for you to speak out or be seen or heard, or by subconsciously encouraging you to surround yourself with people who bring you down or whose energy will overshadow yours. I had a friend who was trying to become more confident when meeting new people. She signed up to a parent-baby group that she began going to every week, and being able to meet and connect with other new mums was really helping her to build her self-esteem. She seemed to be making an internal shift, but then, a couple of months later, I realised that she hadn't gone back to the meetup in weeks. Every time she arranged to go, something would coincidentally come up. For example, she would have double booked, or she would suddenly feel too tired, or she would find herself unexpectedly busy on the day. I told her that all of this was subconscious self-sabotage at play, and only when she could recognise that could she begin to move forward. Another example might be that your goal is to feel healthy, energized, and physically fit. Your vision is clear and you see yourself waking up with energy and vitality and feeling fit enough to play outside with your children for hours on end. To reach this goal, you will first have to be proactive in changing your behavior. For example, instead of making excuses not to exercise or to overindulge in food, which makes you feel sluggish, you will have to commit to an exercise routine or to make healthier, more nourishing food choices. In other words, you have to be proactive by taking action. After doing this for some time, you will begin to see and feel difference. Your confidence will begin to grow. This is when your subconscious will panic. It doesn't care that you are feeling good. It just cares that you feel different, and different for your subconscious doesn't feel safe. So it will encourage you to self-sabotage by convincing you to binge, to skip your workouts, or to give up on your goals altogether. Sound familiar? So have a think about that. How familiar does that sound to you? Is that something that you can recognize in yourself? Because the importance of going through this process is to be really, really honest with ourselves and realize that, you know, the very fact that it's in the book means that it's something that a lot of people will recognize and discover. So being honest and then being committed to change that is really going to help you experience life at a completely new level. I certainly find myself trapped in self-sabotaging cycles all the time. I was so comfortable in feeling sad, alone, and full of self-loathing that every time I committed to making changes and started to feel better, I would self-sabotage with food, alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, and toxic relationships. It was only when I became aware of what my subconscious was trying to do that I was able to overcome the urges to self-sabotage and instead to stay focused on where I wanted to be. I could then sit through the discomfort until I established a new familiarity, and that is how you create real and lasting change. Whenever we enter a period of transformation and we begin to align our behavior with what we want to attract into our lives, we must simultaneously expect a period of discomfort and then make a conscious commitment to accept it and sit through it. We must resist the urge to self-sabotage, and we must learn to live in this new empowered place until it feels like home. Because when we live in a place that is not limited by our fears and doubts, we unlock the abundance of the universe. So I'm going to finish there for today because I want to keep these short and manageable to people that are busy. Of course, if you've got more time, you can listen to several of them at once or go back and re-listen to some of the earlier ones to remind you. So we are now up to page 73. And the next thing we're going to move on to in the next session is stepping out of your comfort zone. So thank you so much for listening in with me today. I really, really want to hear how you're all getting on. I'd love to read the comments. I love to see you all encouraging each other. And as I said, it's absolutely fine if you're losing track a bit. I mean, some people, we're going through this sort of week by week, but equally, some people might want to leave it and do the whole lot in much quicker succession. You can go back and re-listen, because the more you re-listen, the more these habits will become ingrained in you and the easier it becomes. So please do let me know how you're getting on. Thank you so much for listening, and I will be back next week to find out how you're all doing. Don't forget, all the links are below, and please do go back and listen to the earlier episodes. And if you feel that some of your friends could benefit with this, please feel free to share it. Thank you.